Okay, so we're talking about what happens if you don't want to be a landlord anymore. Now, we see people talk to us all the time about situations like this where maybe they lived in a two-family house and then they moved and now they're renting to two different people. Maybe they managed a property that they inherited or they managed a property that they used to live in and then they moved away. Or they're just having trouble with the whole situation. And usually it's due to a bad tenant, but sometimes it's just due to the costs of the property going up. So what we see all the time is we'll talk to a landlord and he says, I want to sell the property, I don't want to deal with it anymore. And then we'll ask him what the taxes are, and they'll tell us the taxes are 7,000. And then when we look, the taxes are 12,000. We just had someone who thought the taxes were 8,000, taxes were really 14,000. And when they start doing the math, they realize I'm not really making any money on this property. That happens all the time. Taxes are going up in Long Island all the time. They don't really seem to go down. And even people tell me, oh, I got a reduction. That reduction takes 2 years to kick in. And sometimes it's not even a reduction by that time. So I got to tell you that we talk to tired landlords all the time. They don't want to deal with it. So assuming you're not going to just get rid of this tenant and rent it to somebody else, you want to sell it. So the options you have are to sell it with the tenants in place. Now, 99 out of 100 retail buyers, regular buyers, are not going to buy a property with tenants in place. Now, what we hear all the time is, but the tenants are great. They've been there for 20 years. Doesn't matter. To a new buyer, they want to qualify their own tenants. So if you want to sell a property with the tenants in place, you got to talk to an investor cash buyer, which is something we do. We buy occupied properties all the time, even for tenants that are not paying, even for tenants that are big problems. We deal with that, and we take that off your plate. Usually we're going to have to figure in a cost for that. So you're going to have to sell the property at somewhat of a discount with a tenant in place. Your other option is to deal with the eviction, get the tenant out, and then sell it to a retail buyer vacant. Sometimes that's easier and sometimes it's not. So you have to decide how you want to handle that. We usually, if there's tenants in place, will give a seller two prices. We'll give you this is the price we'll pay for it with the tenants, and this is the property we'll pay for it vacant. And we'll pay more for it if it's vacant, obviously. For the same reason, we don't want to deal with somebody else's issues, regardless of what you tell me. Even if you showed me rent checks on the first of the month every year for 50 years, it doesn't matter. We want to qualify our own tenants. We want to deal with somebody new, and that's where we stand. So we talk to a lot of people that are not interested in being landlords anymore. And if you are in that situation, you can give us a call and we can help you, right? Because we can tell you, listen, this is what it's worth if you get the tenant out. It might be worth a lot more if you get the tenant out. And it might be worth it to pay the tenant off or to go through the eviction process. But that is something that you can only know if you really know what the value is. So you can call us and we're here to help you. Even if you don't sell the house to us or list the house with us, we're a resource for you and we can tell you what we think. Because a lot of landlords just really don't understand how it works. If you're cash flow positive a few $100s a month, you're one major problem away from losing money on that house. Here's what I mean. We had somebody who was telling us he's making $300 a month on a house. $300 a month is $3,600. Let's say he's right and his numbers are accurate. Very, very often they're not. But you're one roof leak away from losing money on that house. You're one boiler repair away. You're one major appliance change away from being break even. So these things happen all the time. You need to be significantly cash flow positive for you to keep a property. If you're just keeping it to pay the taxes and wait for that next repair, it's probably something you should get rid of, right? Especially, I mean, if you have equity in it. So, like I said, you got to analyze. We go through landlords and we analyze their expenses, right? And we tell them, well, what about your insurance? Oh, I don't think about the insurance because I paid it with my house insurance, right? So that's another $1,000 a month. What about the water bill? Oh, I don't even think about the water bill, but it's only a few $100s a month. These are the things you got to think of. So we can help you analyze the property and we can help you with options on what to do with it. So give us a call. Our number is below and we're here to help even if you don't use us for anything.